Hello everyone, I am Defudge 3004 and I would like to show you how I use Vegas Pro 18. I think they're up to 22 right now. I'm just using the most current version that I have. For most of my video, I typically use 14, but for sake of most current, I'm going to use this one right here for right now. Now, normally, whenever I start up 18, not so much with 14, but with 18, the window is typically about that big. Now, I don't care for that because then you have this huge amount of stuff here kind of blocking my view. So I slide this all the way over to there. So that way you just have a line of stuff over here. And then I can kind of focus on the video here. So you have your basic buttons, play, pause, stop to the beginning, and then frame by frame. And I don't know. Okay, so those are more buttons that you can put on if you want to, but I'm not going to because I use a different system to record. And this what's up here is also down here, so you can, but this one has a little bit go to start and go to end that this one does not have. This is the editing software that I use to do all of my videos on. Now there's nothing in here right now. What I can do is I can take a video and drag it into this area right here, right where this is, and anywhere along this line, and I can begin editing my video. There are some things that you can do for your video once we get into it, and I'll show you that here in a quick minute. I'm just going to grab a video. I, a long time ago, recorded a bit of a Minecraft video to learn how to do the editing. And it'll say, do you want to start your project video settings to match this media? Click yes. And I always have that ask every time, so that way I know. Now, when you do this, you'll have two bars. You have your video, which is this top bar right here, and you have your audio, which is this lower bar right here with the red. The video's in blue, the audio's in red. Now, right now, it doesn't look like there's anything hardly in the audio, but what I can do is I can right click on there, and then I can have to click first over here in this area. Then I can right click and then go down to properties, and then I can go to normalize, and that's going to change this back here. You'll see here in a quick second. That is all of the talking that I have in my video, and that's where all of these things are, or sounds or whatever that are in the video. Not just talking, but any sounds. Since it's all recorded at once, I have the sounds and the mic all at the same time. What I'm going to do, because I'll mention this later, is I'm just going to go ahead and lower the audio all the way down. You can do this two different ways or three different ways. You can drag this thing down right here that I have all the way to the bottom, which makes that line disappear. You can take this down all the way down over here. This is the volume. Or you can also take it down over here on this side. Either one of those works. Turning down it over here only makes you not hear anything. So, you know, you won't hear anything. It doesn't affect the actual quality of the sound. So if I want to go back to the beginning of the video, I just do that. That's at the very beginning. That is, go to the start, and I can start going through my video. Now, I want to edit this video. So right here, I'm just talking about the different things that are in this video, the different things that are like in my chest, and all the different items that I have around. So I'm going through and I'm like, okay, I want to jump to another scene. And so I already know where I want to jump. So I just press pause, and I already have things, you know, kind of figured out where I want to go. I'm going to press S. That will cut the video. Okay. So right now I can move these parts independently of each other and nothing is going to happen. Try not to click too high up here. Make sure you click kind of in the middle of the window there. And I can move this around as needed. And then I can come over to another area where I want to cut to, where I've already, you know, once you do the video, you know where you want to cut to for the most part. Let's say I want to go to here. I'll click on that area there and I'll press S. Now, I've already cut two areas, so I don't want this part right here. And I go ahead and I press delete. That will get rid of that part. Now, I can slide that all the way up. And now when I start this right here, I'll press play and we're going along, and then we jump to another part right out here. So we have just jumped to a new scene. Up at this top part is called the scene, and this is the audio. So I can do things with the scene, and I can jump to different parts. And with this right here, there's this blue thing right here. I can take this, and this is going to take the top part and make it darker or lighter depending on what I want to do. I typically don't mess with this. This is something that I just don't really want to do. However, if I wanted to fade it into from this part to this part, what I can do is, and you can see right here, there's a little pie shaped thing. It's a half circle or quarter circle. I can do this. This is a line that will fade it in, and I can click on this side. You cannot do it on the side you're not clicked on. So this side over here, I can't do anything with. I have to click over here, and then I can take this side and I can fade that side out. Now, I can come over to here where that line is, and you can see that line right there. That is where that begins fading. And then I can press play, and I'm going to fade out, and then I'm going to fade right back in. You can do this if you want to, but you don't have to. And the same also applies on the audio tracks. So what I can do is down here, of course, the audio is at the very bottom. So what I'd have to do is actually raise up the audio. And if I wanted to fade that in or out, I can just do something like that so the audio fades out. You can do this for any sort of audio that you have in here, and you can just do different things like that. So that way that helps, and I don't know what I'm doing that for. I just want to lower that. Let's get rid of that. So I want to have that all the way down so it's not messing with my video. Okay, so we just got done editing our video, and now we have jumped from one point to another, or we've also used these fade ins and fade outs to go to the next part. There is a different way to also fade in and out. So I'm just going to take that, and I'm going to take this. If you mess up your video for whatever reason and you really jacked up the video that you recorded in your editing software, if you messed up the video that you recorded and you have not had it in your editing software, you have to redo the whole video, and that's a pain in the patookus. But in the editing software, if you mess any part of this up, it's really not that big of a deal. You just go to here and you can see the undo. Now it just put that part back in because that's the most recent part that I undid. And then I can do that, and it will put those parts back in because I'm just undoing what I do. Be aware that as more undo you click on, there is a potential that the program may crash. Just an FYI for you, so that way you are aware. If you want to go, well, I'm okay with that, we'll just go ahead and do that. Okay. Now, there's another way to fade things in and out, and what I typically do is I go right near the end, leaving a couple of short seconds there so you can see there's a gap there. And then I have my other video, and I'm going to slide that over to where my cursor is, so I'm overlapping the video. Now you can see there's like a line there. What I can do is I can go to my transitions. I need to get over to my transitions right here. And I want to do, let's say, cross effect. So I am going to do let's do pixelate A. So the one thing to remember with A, and there's pixelate B, these two right here. A is on this side where it's white right now, and B is on this side. Okay, so I want to do a pixelate A. I'm just going to grab this, and I'm going to drag this to right here. Now let me show you that as I scroll in. You can see that line, that the X across there. I'm going to grab this pixelate A, and I'm going to put that right in there. Okay, now that has the cross effect, and you can see that, and you can see the different effects. I can change it to none, zoom, pixelate, blur, and whatever else I may have. And you can also apply to the source, or you can destination, or both. So the source is this side, the destination is that side. I just want it on the source side, which is side A. I'm going to close that. I can scroll back out just by using my mouse wheel, so I can scroll in and out. You can see this line right down here, the slider. I can make this either go really close, so you can see like 19.10 seconds, 19.20 from 10 seconds 10-second intervals and even closer. Once we do, we are going to take that, nope, down to here. We'll just let that play actually. Go down to there, and it should have faded. It did not. Why it did not, I don't know. Sometimes it does this. So what I have to do is make sure that it is going to work right. And it's really hard to see, but there is a square there. You can see right now that there is just a kind of a plus right there. It's very difficult to see, but on the red, there's a plus there. And if I come over to this side, to the source side where I want it to be, I can actually make that be what I want it to be. And it's kind of a pain, but there is a different line there, and it kind of has a square, I guess you could say. And then when I do that, it's not working for some reason. Let me go extend this out a little bit, this cross effect, and let's go see. Okay, it just did. That was way too short. So if you want to make your cross effect be a little bit bigger, you can just pull that out, and then when you do that, it will pixelate that for a longer time. Now, it will be a little bit more taxing for the program to do it, so we're just going to have that be a fairly short one, and it just basically pixelates from one to the other. You can do pixelate A, pixelate B on this side, or you can do a cross pixelate to A and B. So there's all kinds of different transitions here. This is just some of the ones. There's cross effect. There is clock wipe, which will do counterclockwise, clockwise, and it has a soft blur to it. We'll start at the top actually. This is the default. It goes clockwise with a soft edge, and that one's just like this one with a soft edge. This is backwards, so counterclockwise. This is a hard edge, so it doesn't have that soft edge to it. And then this one right here is a blend in, so you just kind of blends the two together, so that way it looks really nice. There's all kinds of different ones here. There's splits. You can see how this does. And remember, A is on the source side and B is on the other side, so you need to remember which one to do. This one will start at B and go to A, so basically it will split it on this side instead of this side. So just keep that stuff in mind if ever you're using this. You can figure this stuff out as you go. It just may take a little bit more time than what you're typically used to. You just have to look at each one and figure out which transition you like and that kind of thing. So you have this done now, and you want to, let's say you forgot to say something in the video, and you've already cut the video to where you wanted it to be. You're happy with the cuts and all of that kind of stuff. Put in as many or as few cuts as you want. Sometimes I have 1 or 2, sometimes I have 30 or 40, depending on how the video is and the kind of stuff that I'm doing. So I forgot to say over in this section that I was going to say something about that thing there. What I can do is I can right click and I can go to insert video track. That's going to put a track above all of these. I could move this up, but I'm not going to. Instead, what I'm going to do is leave that blank up there, and I am going to go to the next one over, media generator, titles and text, and I typically just use the default one. There are many different ones that will do different things. Some of them will bounce, and different ones, there's all kinds of different things. I think that one's dropping. Earthquake shakes. This is coming from the right. This one is float and pop, but I typically just use the sample text. So I want to put something in right there. And then there is different font sizes right here, but you have to get rid of this first. So sample text, I'm going to take this down to, let's say, 14. I'm just going to use the Verdana, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can use, but I'm just going to stick with Verdana for now. And I'm going to say, I forgot to mention this part here. Okay, that is now done. And what I can do is I can take this, so you can see that's, maybe it's not very big and you want to make it bigger. Right click on this and go to edit generated media, and then you can use this scale down here and you can make the words a lot bigger. So when you're on this one says forgot to mention this part here. Why ever that's twisted? I don't know why I did that for. That's kind of weird. I never had to do that before. That's very, very interesting. Huh, okay, I guess that it is doing a little bit of a flip with that. That's very interesting. I did not select that. Why it's doing that, I don't know. It should be just on default, and yet it's not doing... Oh, action flip right here. Okay, see, 14 I'm used to. This one I'm not used to, so I really just want it to just... Let's say we want to do it sliding up. Then when I click back here, it will do this and it will slide up. And then when this is over, however long you want this to be, slide that back, start back here, and then it will slide that up. And then you can see how that is. Now, because the words are so big, it is actually cutting off part of it. So I can just actually take this back at media generator and slide this down, or type in any numbers that I want to here to make this whatever size that works. So I hope this is making sense. So now when you go to here, I forgot to mention this part here. Leave that up for as long as you want to, or as short as you want to. Maybe you forgot to talk about whatever it is that you're doing and you want to say, oh yeah, I forgot to talk about this part, or I meant to say whatever it is you're saying. So that's how to put words in. And when you are doing this, when you're editing your media generator, you can take your part back here and you can kind of move that guy out of the way. You can put this wherever you want to, and it doesn't really matter where, as long as they can see it and you can see it. You can change colors. That's not that big of a deal. You just go to text color here, and I want to make that yellow, or maybe I want to make that green. I can also make that black, or I can make it red, or whatever color I want to. If I want to make that red, but it's kind of hard to see, but I really want them to notice it, then I use this. I go down here, and I go to outline, and the top one is white. So the outline width is what goes all around those words there. I'll take this and I'll slide that over. Now you can really see, because that really pops out now, and it says I forgot to mention this part here. And then that way you know that people will most likely see it. And it's a good idea to mention the part that you said in the last video, because some people are watching the video with their ears, but they're not watching the video with their eyes. So they may not actually see something that you put in, and they're like, well, wait a minute, something doesn't sound right here. What are they talking about? And then you kind of, people get confused, or maybe they're just like, whatever, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, kind of thing, or that. So got all that stuff done. You now have in what you wanted to put in, and your video's done. It's the length that you wanted. So this video is like 1 minute 58 seconds. Everything's edited the way that you want to, and you wanted to add some music to the back of your video. So you're at the bottom of your video. Go to your insert audio track, and you click that, and the audio track always goes on the bottom. And then what you can do is, for example, if this was a music line, let me go ahead and put in some music that I actually do have saved. So I have an audio track here that I wanted to put in. This one is called Sharp Edges. I take my track, I put it in, I put it wherever it is that I want to, and then that is the track. All of these lines right here, this is all of the sound that is in the track. So right now this is going to be actually quite loud, and what I have to do is actually take that down, and then you'll hear the music. That's loud. Take that down some more, and now you'll be able to hear the music in the background. So that is music that you can add. They are YouTube tracks that you can get off of YouTube at during when you go to your creator content page, then you can music library, and there's a lot of ad-free music that you can get there, so you can put that kind of music in your video if you so choose to. You obviously don't have to, but during one of my grounded videos I put in some cool music when I was doing I sped up a thing and I made it, you know, go all fast, and I put in some music to do that. If I wanted to get rid of this track, I can have a click on it, make sure, and then press delete, and now that music track is gone. If I don't want to have this track here, right click, go to delete track, or I can duplicate it. I'm just going to delete it, so that track is gone. And if you want to get rid of your audio track altogether and just have video, you can also just delete this track here, or even like separate it and put in something in between with the music and all that kind of stuff. So that also works too. So this is the basics for how to edit your videos and get your videos done. There's a lot more to this than just this. There's a lot of video effects, so you can change different things with the videos, like film grain, so you can make it really like blurry or whatever, and you can really sharpen the color and all that kind of stuff. There's so many different effects here that you can do that. Once your video's done, you have everything the way that you want. You're happy with it, and everything is the way that you like it. You can put in intros, of course, and outros if you choose to put them on the end of the videos or the beginning of your videos. So we will just do that like that. And I will put in a video of one of my intros. I am going to use a really old intro that I used some years ago. I am just going to actually put you right there, and then I will make sure he is all the way in, put you there, put you up against there, so that way you're overlapping like you should be. I'm going to take this audio track here down, so that way it isn't overly loud. Go back to the beginning, and this is an old intro that I had many years ago. So I just added that to the beginning, and you don't have to have it in the intro. I'll show you how to do this later. This intro stuff, it's a little complicated too if you don't know what you're doing, and sometimes I still have problems with it. So you can put that in. You do not have to have an intro. Lots of people don't. Some do. I choose to have it because I just like the way that it works and lets people know, you know, my channel and all that kind of stuff. So I don't want to have an intro on this video. I'm just going to have the video be as is. Make sure that everything is good. And I'm talking about whatever. I transition to that part. I still have this in line with where I wanted to talk about that part there, and I forgot to mention this part. So there's all kinds of different things you can do with that. I normally just like having saying the words and then getting out. 14 is better about this than 18. I'm not too sure how I just get that to just use the words and then leave, but just to make it leave, I just have to shorten that up. So in any case, there is that, and you can make the words as big or small as you want, whatever color also. Once you're done, you have your video, you're all good. I recommend closing it and then restarting it back up. Once that is done, I'm actually going to go back to Media Generator. Once that is done, your video is uploaded. Before you close the video, obviously, go to File, and you're going to save it whatever you want it to save it as. So you press Save, you will name it whatever you want to, and it will work like that, and then we'll save it to wherever you want it to. I have mine saved to the desktop, so that way it's always there. I can have it go right to the desktop, okay, and then that will save it on the desktop, and then I can just have that ready so I know where it is and what it is, and then you press save, it'll have it on the desktop. And then once you get done, you relaunch the program, go to File when you're ready to render your video, because this video right now cannot be posted on YouTube. It isn't ready. It hasn't been rendered to what it needs to be. Go to File, go to Render As. It may take a minute to load up. Once it does that, The Magic AVC AAC MP4 is what I typically use. On 14, I already have a setup system about YouTube and that kind of stuff. 18 is a little bit different. That's why I tend not to use it as much. 14 is my favorite, like I said, but I also have done some on 18. So I click on Internet HD 1080p, which is 5994 frames per second, basically 60 frames per second. If you click this right here, that's your favorite. That's what it will always go to. If you record in 1080p, you can render in 1080p. If you record in 720, you cannot render in 1080. It cannot render up. It cannot scale things up. It can only scale down or where they are. So do keep that in mind. Try to record in 1080 so that you can render in 1080 as well, so that way you have that going on. Now there's all kinds of different ones here. I just typically would use this one right here, the Internet HD 1080p. Use this setting to create an MP4, which is what you want for YouTube or most file sharing places like this, and for progressive internet downloads, and it gives you a little bit of information there. Once that is done, you will take the name of your MP4 and it will have it here, whatever it is saved as, and then you press the render and it will give you an estimated time about how long it will take. Let's just go ahead and render this real quick and then we'll come right back. As we're nearing the end of the render, it has an estimated time that it gave me at the beginning and then how much rendering time it is taking. So right now it's just over 4 minutes. Once that is done, you can open the folder and it will take you to where it is that your video is at. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. It will generally put the video under the documents of wherever it is under C. It will have it there. And this is now our video. So you can see it's a minute 58 in length and it took 4 minutes for it to render. Sometimes it'll take less time, sometimes it'll take more time depending on what all you've done, if you played any games or whatever and stuff like that, depending on how full your video memory is. So you have this done. Now what we can do is just go ahead and minimize that, and I am going to put this where I put all of my videos. Let me get that done real quick, and I'm going to bring over this screen right here, and then I take this untitled video and I go to be posted. So I made a whole bunch of different folders for everything. And now I have my video in there. Typically, I would like right click and move to. I don't like copying it just because that way I can get it out of here and then I don't, have to worry about this video being here to be posted. And then we go and we watch our video. So now that we have our video going, because I am recording this at the time of rendering this video and the sound was all the way down. Of course, I don't have any sound in the video. But if I did, then you would hear me talking on the video, just like I am right now. And then you can skip through the video. I typically use SM Player to, look at my video. And then I do that. And then I'm at the end of the video, so I can really see how my video is. One thing to know as well, when you're using this, sometimes the image up here may be a bit pixelated. From time to time, you'll see like rough edges. That doesn't mean that the video that you did is going to look like that. It may actually look pristine, just like you recorded it. It's just sometimes Vegas has a bad way of pixelating the video up in this window up here. So, excuse me. So there's different things that you can do here, and the transitions and the media generators and different things like that. Just remember to render your video and then you can post it to YouTube and have your very own videos that you can make and all of that stuff. So if you enjoyed this video, drop a like on the video, and hopefully you learned something here and you can be a person that can make your own videos. And any recording software is pretty much going to be very similar to the way it works. All of the Sony Vegas is pretty much similar to each other, so you can use any version that you can find and use that, and they're all going to be pretty much the same. You have a great day. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.